I am an educator with 15 years of experience on the second day of a new job for the first time outside of the same district ever. I was a student in that district for 3rd grade to 12th grade. I taught in that district for 15 years, and I live in that district. And starting this school year, I am not a part of that ecosystem anymore, aside from being a community member. And it feels super weird. I don't know what to think about it yet. I'm super excited about my new school. I'm really excited about all the things they're doing there instructionally. I have lots of reservations about the unknown of change and leaving behind all of the good things that I had experienced and was looking forward to at my other school districts. But some things happened this past school year that were the final breaking point of me feeling dumped on and unappreciated and undervalued and only looked at for my deficits, not for my strengths, that I felt like it was time to go. And so I applied to a few different districts, and doors opened to this one, and several crazy circumstances happened in between, which I always look at as God working on those things and opening that door for me. Some coincidences I'll take as a coincidence, but there's been a few times in my 40 years that lots of coincidences and things that shouldn't have happened all happen all together at the same time. Those are the times that I cannot ignore the work of God opening that opportunity for me and moving people's hearts and moving systems in a way that in the Bible and throughout history we've seen that people's hearts can miraculously change, or they can make decisions that aren't usually made in a way that shuts opportunities or opens opportunities. I'm of the belief that that's what has happened here, and it feels super weird. One thing about this new school district that people love is that it is a community school district, and people grow up from preschool to high school there, and then they stay living there, and then they send their kids there. And there are several teachers that live really close to the school that are, quote, coming home to the school district, even in my cohort of new teachers. And it's viewed as a really good thing, which I would agree with, because that was my situation especially the last 7 years when I was living, or six whole years, I was living in my school district, really close to the house I grew up in. And I really enjoyed being neighbors with my students. And so, where I probably wrongfully judged some people before that did not live in the school district, maybe discounted or discredited some of the things they said about our town, our neighborhoods. I'm kind of that guy now. I think it's a little bit different, maybe I'm giving myself too much credit. I'm moving from a less affluent district to a more affluent district. So I don't know, that feels different. I'm leaving the less affluent place to drive to the more affluent. But that's part of my story of why I feel kind of guilty too. Not only were those, quote, less advantaged kids my neighbors, and that's my home, but that also felt like it meant more also. If you view education as an opportunity equalizer, for equity, for chances to move up and better yourself, then the kids with less opportunity just around them, I think you have to conclude that that's more important. So leaving that has given me a lot of reservations. And so all the time when I talked to people over this summer about how I was moving, and they were all really happy for me. People that I know in the community, at my church, in my old school even, really happy for me moving because they see it as a move up. Someone even said, "Congrats on your promotion." I hadn't seen it as a promotion. It's just a move from a teacher to a teacher. Not any more pay even. It's actually slightly less responsibility because of the committees and influence and opportunity that I had built up over the last 15 years. But this is where we're going. So day one was really good. There's a lot of people that have come to the district that I know through my old district, through other professional development opportunities that I've had over the last 15 years, that those people are all there already. And it's more than a handful. So I'm really excited to be working with them again. Take that energy that we shared in a more toxic environment and hopefully bring that energy to a more supportive environment where I think it can multiply even more. Other things that I've been thinking about recently, coming to this new district, they market themselves as being really progressive, which on specifically the education side of things, I really value. My brand as a teacher is to be innovative and to experiment.
In 2 miles, use the left lane to take exit 1A for I-64 East, US 40 East toward Lewis and Clark Trail, St. Louis.
I think it's always important to be experimenting to verify that the old methods work, or that maybe you can remix, tweak, bring in some new things that can work better for more kids. It's never even about throwing out all of the old stuff, but just building the toolkit. Building the toolkit is important if you want to reach all kids, which I think has to be your goal in education, especially in public education where you don't get to choose your kids. You just get the kids that live around the school that show up. So you need more strategies and more opportunities to fit in for those kids. So individual autonomy for the educator and valuing their professional experience and letting them make professional choices for their classroom and for their curriculum and for their students. I am really excited about that opportunity because...
In half a mile, use the left lane to take exit 1A for I-64 East, US 40 East toward Lewis and Clark Trail, St. Louis.
Professional opportunity, or professional autonomy is what my other district was moving away from increasingly over and over again.
Use the left lane to take exit 1A.
So I'm excited about stepping into a more autonomous...
Continue on I-64 East for 1 mile.
Situation with the reservation that I'm so used to having less autonomy that it's going to be weird being the one who's trying to build more people together, because that's been my experience the last several years, is working out that muscle and building those collaborative rhythms and moves into my teaching, where I did not naturally want to do that. So this district actually is a more natural fit, and that's taking the things that I learned the last several years to be more collaborative and figuring out what to do all that is another...
In half a mile, take exit 33A for Big Bend Boulevard.
Another change that I have to work out. So progressive on that side. Again, I'm excited for that. Progressive socially is also the brand.
Take exit 33A, then keep right at the fork.
Progressive socially is also part of the brand of this school district, and that's the piece that I have lots of question marks about.
Keep right at the fork.
I identify as a conservative evangelical Christian. I'd say I'm very socially conservative, although economically progressive, and socially progressive in the view of...
Continue on Big Bend Boulevard for 3/4 of a mile.
Racial equality, racial justice, ethnic equality, those kinds of things. But where it gets wrapped up together is in transgender movement and sexual identity and gender identity, all that stuff. That's where I am socially, or very conservative on that, because I believe that God's design was for men to be with women and for there to be two genders.
In a 1/4 mile, turn right onto Reynolds Avenue.
And my new school district is leaning into the cultural moment we have of, at least in America, in the West, of be whoever you want to be.
Turn right onto Reynolds Avenue, then turn left onto Florent Avenue.
Besides that, just being against my belief of what God has designed for humans, I think that's just actually more confusing for kids. Coming from middle school the last 6 years, and remembering...
Take the second left onto Florent Avenue, then turn right.
Remembering what it's like to try to figure out how you are as an 8th grader, and then putting onto that also the option of what kind of person do I want to...
Take the next right, then turn left.
What kind of person do I want to be romantic with, and what gender am I? Like, throwing those options into the mix also is just a bowl of confusion. And complicates the adolescent process, in my opinion. So I was told
You have arrived.
yesterday that we are going to even go against parent wishes to as far as what kids want to do with preferred names and preferred pronouns and where they're at in their gender identity movement. And I am always for parent rights for minors, and so that's the first thing I noticed that I might rub up against, that I gotta figure out real quick, is how much autonomy do I believe a teenager has outside of their parents. It's a spectrum, and it's not always the same answer, but that's where I gotta be careful about. All right, it's time to go in, so I'm gonna go start day 2.